Welcome to a very nice sounding chunk of Italy, because today we're taking a look at a very cool Lambo. To unlock it, you need to go over to your good old bit of road racing, go to this brand new race up by the stadium. As you can see here, we've got an Accolade to complete, so if you go ahead and complete that, that'll unlock this one next to it, and as a result of that one, you can go ahead and grab yourself a new car. Or be like me and buy it from the auction house. In the meantime though, let's take a look at the latest Lambo. It's called the Revuelto, a very tricky one for me to remember, but it does start out with over 1,000 brake horsepower from stock, 739 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs just a shade over 4,000 pounds. It has made appearances in other video games before this one, most notably the Crew Motorfest, but I've got to say, now it's in Horizon 5, it does look very, very cool indeed, especially going to the side, keeping that traditional Lamborghini shape. Going to the back though, that's where everything kind of changes from what we used to know, and yes, in case you're wondering, that wing at the back does move. And then we go to the interior, and now while the passenger side does look like every other Lambo to ever exist, you'll see the center console is different, and also so is the little gauge cluster and the wheel itself. But now let's go ahead and get to the part you're all waiting for. Let's go ahead and listen to this thing. I've got to say, this thing does sound very nice indeed. And now let's go ahead and jump over to conversions, see what we've got to work with. Over to engine swap, we've only got one, and it is the Racing V12. If you want to, you can also go ahead and make this thing rear wheel drive. I don't know why you would, but you can. And of course, if you want to, you can also go ahead and twin turbo this thing, take it to well over 1,200 brake horsepower. And in terms of aero and appearance, we've only got one category. It's for the rear wing, and let's see. Yep, it's the Forza Aero. Such a nice car, yet we're stuck with that. In the meantime, our local mechanic Mac has been very busy making a brand new race team for us. Yes, he's back indeed from the holidays. So let's go ahead and bring up the share code very, very quickly. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to go ahead, download and install, because apparently it's something interesting. So with these parts, we're now even lighter at 3,157 pounds as opposed to the original over 4,000, but we do have a lot less horsepower, only sat now at 750. So with those upgrades applied, here we are now in the paint shop. We've got, of course, nothing in advance, but if you go to manufacturer colours, you can see we've got ourselves a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different colours for this thing. I don't know what it is, I just love how that blue looks. Now, I've seen a fair few Lamborghinis in my lifetime. They are quite nice cars, and I definitely do like the, I think the Lamborghini Cyan Roadster it is, which the front of this heavily reminds me of, but I've got to say, I've not seen a Revuelto in person, but I would love to. So if you happen to know of somebody that owns one, contact me on Twitter, please. In the meantime, away we go. We're now up against 11 other various assorted vehicles all the way up into S1. We've got ourselves Forza Horizon 3 behind us, or the Lamborghini Centenario to everybody else. Turn number 1, how do we do? This thing is, I mean, it's kind of a little understeery, kind of not. It's not too bad though. Also, I just realised that is the drive avatar of the person that tuned this car. Right, let's try and see if we can make up a few spaces. Horizon 3's gotten angry. Now, I've tried to find out how many Lamborghini Revueltos are made, and honestly, I can't really find a definitive number, so if you happen to know what that is, let me know. But the numbers I was able to find are, of course, the numbers of how much these sell for used. And I've got to say, they are hideously expensive, because for a used one of these in the UK, you're looking anywhere between 460 to 650,000 pounds sterling, which is this in US dollar. Honestly, an absolutely horrendous price for one of these, but they are quite a nice car. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, hi people. In the meantime, one more turn to go. Everybody's quite close there, but it's not enough because across the line we go with, of course, the Lamborghini at first place and a time of 1 minute 55. Now, I've got to say that was a very close race indeed, especially towards the end, but let's go ahead and turn ourselves away from racing cars to voting for them. Because this week in the backstage vote, we have ourselves the Ascari KZ1R and the Audi RS4 Avant versus the Koenigsegg Agera and the CTS V-Wagon. Now, I've got to say these are two very interesting choices indeed, but I think for this week, we're going to go with the Ascari. Do you agree? Let me know. And now we go from voting for cars back to racing them, because we're going with a little bit of a drag build made by our very own Mac once again. So let's go ahead and bring up the share code very quickly. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. We're going to go ahead, download and install this thing and see what we've got to work with. So these upgrades are now a little heavier at 3,265 pounds. We are now a lot more powerful with 1,380. Right, here we are now over at the back of the festival. Let's go ahead and see, do we get a wheelie check out of this thing? Do we get anything? Not really. We could say not wheelie. That was a terrible pun. In the meantime, here we are now over at the edge of the drag strip. The tune said to not use launch control, so we're going to go ahead and use launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get with the Lamborghini Revuelto. And I've got to say, it took me way too long to learn how to actually say that name properly. It's very, very tricky indeed. Anyway, through the camera at 200.8, and then off the edge of the drag strip at 222, and zero braking. You know, I should be used to this by now. In the meantime though, now it's our turn to go ahead and have a little bit of fun with this thing, so we're going to go ahead, throw this thing straight onto Oh wait, it's on semis already. Okay, never mind that theory. Instead, we're going to go ahead and make the front tyres wider, and we're going to go ahead and make the back tyres wider as well. We're also definitely making this thing lighter, and now it's time to shove as much power in this thing as we possibly can. Yeah, that looks alright. Although now we've got the power sorted, it's time for the fun bit, trying to tune the 1300 brake horsepower into only 6 gears. Oh, and apparently the front aero of this thing's actually tunable. In the meantime, here's this week's Forzathon shop. We got ourselves the Bugatti Veyron, a backstage pass, the Mexican suit, the Ferrari F12 TDF, and even a sombrero as well, alongside the Super Wheelspin and the regular Horizon Wheelspin. And now, out to the motorway. Another fun fact that I didn't really know about the Lamborghini Revuelto is apparently it's a hybrid. Anyway, let's go ahead now and see how close do we get to the motorway grade today. I think we might have... Oh, we passed it. Well, that's a new one. In the meantime, here we are now at the edge of the motorway. I don't know why that transit van's facing the wrong way, but let's go ahead and get ourselves onto launch control, and away we go. 1,380 brake horsepower, just below 4,000 pounds. Hopefully we get a good result. And in case you're wondering, yes, this thing did just jump. How? Why? I don't know. Oddly enough, this thing's really stable. Anyway, outside of the speed zone now, 255.9. We've still got a little bit more to go before we hit the downhill and, of course, the speed camera, and this thing is still accelerating. As to what top speed it's going to hit, I've got no idea. In the meantime, though, we should see through the camera 267.28 going downhill now, 269. Do we hit 270? We do for a very, very, very split second indeed. In the meantime, where's the motorway sign? There it is. On the brakes we go. Do we get a good stopping distance out of this thing? You know what? For 270 to 0, that's not bad. Although, I'm not quite done with this thing yet. If you kept up with these, you know what's about to happen. We've got a car, we've got a drift zone. Let's go ahead and chuck in the Lamborghini Revuelto and see what we can do. I'm hoping for a good set of points here, maybe 40,000 if we're lucky. Nearly, 39,634. So close yet so far. Let's go ahead and see what we can get going back the other way. It's time for round number 2 at 39,600 to beat. Can we do it? Let's go ahead and see. We clouted the bridge a bit, which is unfortunate, but 35,934 points is still a pretty decent run for round 2. In the meantime though, that is it for this video on the Lamborghini Revuelto. I've got to say, it's quite an interesting car indeed, and especially as we got this thing for nothing. Because like I said at the start of the video, this thing is indeed an Accolade award for completing the Horizon Stadium circuit. By the way, that's not to be confused with the Winter Wonderland circuit. That's 2 different tracks. I also have to say the engine of this thing sounds absolutely beautiful at high speed. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, feel free to go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. We're getting close to 1.4k and I think we can hit that soon. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya! Right, back to the coffee shop we go.